This is the story of how we went from being miserable at our 9-to-5 jobs to making millions of dollars online in just 7 years, all while traveling the world full time. I'm Sumner.
And I'm Allie.
And the 3 businesses that we own make us over $280,000 per year in income, which has given us complete time and location freedom to build the life we always dreamed about, but it wasn't overnight.
So we want to walk you through our journey, answer all the big questions, and make you realize that you can do it too. This story begins in July of 2017.
So Allie and I had just graduated from university where we actually met. We had gotten married, moved in together, got our first real jobs, like not serving at a restaurant like we did in college or an internship. And we just got back from our honeymoon and we were so excited about this life. Like, finally making some money, working a real job, getting married, all of those things.
I was working at a local architecture firm. It was a very small office, total 4 of us, including me and the boss. I didn't hate my job, but I didn't love it either. It was a convenient job. The commute was good. It was only 5 minutes from where we were living. My coworkers were pleasant enough. The pay was okay, especially since Sumner and I weren't ever big spenders. But my biggest struggle was time. When I started working, I realized, okay, I only have 2 weeks vacation per year. I was like, this is crazy. I still think it's crazy, especially coming from Brazil. So I am originally from Brazil. Not only Brazil has so many more holidays, so much more free time. We say that we work to live, not live to work. But all of my family still lives in Brazil. So all of my free time that I could accumulate was spent being able to see my family 1 time per year. To me, there was no time for anything else other than work. You have weekends, you can do a few things, but no projects that I really wanted to commit to, and also no time to go travel and explore other parts of the world, which is something that we've always dreamed of.
And I know for me, graduated, applied to about 50 different companies, only got interviews with like a small handful of them, and was only ended up offered a job by one of them. But it was the one company I was actually ended up being the most excited about. It wasn't initially my top choice, but it ultimately became that. Yeah. So I was pumped. It was a startup in downtown Cincinnati, which is where we were living in the Cincinnati area. Cool office, working on cool products. It's a market research for basically Nike and Adidas, where you would survey high school athletes and ask them, like, how do you get your fit ready? Is it from the shoes up? How did you choose this? What do you think about these brands? Whatever, all that kind of stuff, but really cool work. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. This is so cool. Like, so excited. And the pay was solid, not super, super high, but for a fresh college grad, from being broke in college to making any money at a cool job was the best thing ever. So I remember being I was literally because I had a really tough time in college, just hustling and working. I had some depressive episodes. Same thing with high school. So it was just for me, years and years and years and years of effort and money. What, $40,000 for my degree, $100,000 for yours.
Yes.
And finally kind of paying off. That makes sense. All of the things coming together. So got back from the honeymoon, started working, super, super excited. And that quickly went away the more that I was working at this particular company, which is pretty indicative of many companies. And that is, well, first of all, is the commute, for me going 20 to 30 minutes early in the morning to, later kind of in the evening. Just a lot of time, kind of depressing, dangerous at times as well. I was literally man, every day I get to go to work, I'm literally risking my life. It's a thought I never had before.
Yeah. It
sounds stupid, but it's actually real. You're risking your life to go to work. I was like, oh, that's crazy. Anyway, commuting, going into work. And then once I was there, one of the biggest things was really what I would call kind of toxic coworkers. And I have no ill against them, and I don't mean this in any negative way. It was just a realization. And basically what I mean by that is I want to set up my life the best way that I knew and be responsible and diligent. So at a young age, I had, 22, 21? How old was I?
23.
I don't know. 23, okay. I was getting life insurance where my other coworkers weren't even thinking about it. I was investing in Roth IRA. None of the other coworkers were. I would pack my lunches. They would go out to eat. They'd talk about their hookup stories. I would not talk about I had no, any of that.
No, many of them were even married, I don't think.
Yeah, and teach their own. It's not a negative thing. But what I realize now, looking back, is that they sort of thought I was better than them. Oh, you're not going to go out to with it because you're better than us. Or you're getting because you're so mature, you're so great. Oh, you're married. Oh, you're so cool. And I was literally doing my best. I was never intentionally ever rude to anybody. Of course, I want to get along with the people that I'm spending most of my time with. So anyway, these people, most of them, I wish them the best, but it was very like a mismatch. They were rude to me. They would like make comments and jokes that were really inappropriate and just like made no sense to me. I'm like, I'm being so nice to you guys. This is so negative for no reason.
Yeah.
And I know where it came from now, but that was really tough. And guess what? I was spending more time with those people that were just really rude and mean and just not pleasant to be around than my own wife. That was crazy. Like if you do the math, like of waking hours, right? Like yes, sure we sleep together, but waking hours, I was spending like as much time with them or more time with them many times if we're busy and things like that than my own wife. And I'm like, this is insane. So there was that. There was the commute. Also the time.
And also just to, and a note on that, similar to me, I was spending the majority of my waking hours with my coworkers. And even if I didn't have that environment that I felt bad, like that I didn't like them, it was still not like my most meaningful relationships. Like the majority of my time I was spending with people that were just, I don't know, didn't necessarily care about me. It wasn't like people, my loved ones that I actually went to live life with.
Totally, yeah, 100%. So some of those kind of like realizations started happening as the months progressed. Yeah, basically I was hired because they were like, hey, you seem smart. You graduated summa cum laude, basically like just with good grades in marketing at University of Cincinnati. Like we want to bring you in. You seem like a good culture fit. But they didn't really know what to do with me. Yeah. So what I ended up doing, even though they're working on all these cool projects, is I ended up doing what's called transcribing, which is now way automated. It's the easiest thing to automate. But even then you could have automated it and they paid me to do this, which is ridiculous. That is watching videos, like I said, videos of athletes talking about their sneakers or whatever, and then writing
what they were saying,
word for word what they were saying. So at the time, this could have been outsourced for like $3 an hour, literally at rev.com. And they were paying me because I was like, why am I doing this? I could be doing other things. Oh, I don't really know where to put you. We don't really know where to report to. So for me, I went from college, like I got pretty much all A's. I mean, I was dedicated and worked very hard for that.
Yeah.
And I get here and I'm literally doing my best. And people are just like, you're not really good at what you do. Like, oh yeah, this is like the lowest you can do. And just like.
And I remember you had some ideas too.
Yeah, and they just like shot them down. Kind of like you need to work. And someone said this like, yes, you need to eat shit for like 20 years. Then you can start talking about this or that. And I'm like, I'm just thinking about it in terms of like, how can I add the most value to the company? I'm not even thinking about myself. And it was just on so many levels, like just frustrating and depressing to where.
And unfulfilled.
Within less than 6 months of starting to work, on the weekends, and let me know if you feel this way, on the weekends, literally thinking and dreading about Monday. So like Friday would come, Friday night was great. I was excited. I was like, oh my gosh, amazing. Then Saturday morning rolls around and I'm like, this sucks. Why? Because I know where I have to be on Monday. I have to get in that commute, that ugly road, through traffic, get there to people that don't care. And I literally, and I'm not afraid or ashamed at all about this. This is the truth. It got to a point like I was crying in my car. Not often. It was just like 1 or 2 times it's happened. Like I was like tearing up, like thinking, I'm like, wait, I need to do this for 40 years until I have enough money invested in the S&P 500 that I can just retire. And then I can start traveling. Then I can start spending time with my wife. And then I'm like, this is insanity. I'm like, I know everyone else is doing this, but there has to be another way. And that was the big click for me. And then I literally prayed with Allie. I was like, God, like, I don't think I should be here. And especially for the rest of my life, like I feel this strong desire to leave, but that seems like radical. Like no one's doing that.
Yeah, most people would say like, oh my gosh, it's been 6 months. Like
my dad was like, be there for at least 2 years. That's gonna look terrible on your resume. 5. Exactly. Like that's 2, which is understandable from his perspective in that generation. And I was just like, I can't, like, I'm not made for this. I don't know what it is, but I have to quit. I was like, God, like, if you want me to quit, make this next 2 months as miserable as possible for me.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, sorry. I said 2 weeks because I was going to put in my 2 weeks notice, but I was like, okay, so give me 2 weeks and then we'll see. Because if it gets better, then maybe I'll stay. I forgot I prayed that. It got bad. And it wasn't like self-fulfilling prophecy. I always try to be good with people, like understanding, like, work hard. I got in earlier. I started staying later during these 2 weeks, and it got even worse. Meaning, like, nothing I did was good enough, and like people still being rude.
Snapping. Yeah.
It was just. I'm like, what? Like, this is crazy to me. And then you reminded me, hey, you prayed this. Like
he actually forgot. You forgot that you prayed him, like,
because there was so much stuff going on.
Yeah.
But I did pray, and you reminded me, and it was at that moment that I'm like, I need to quit. And I had no idea what I was going to do, but I was like, I can't be here. And also, a big thought that I had as I was going on is. There's this guy who's he used to work there, then he quit and became like a freelancer. And he did freelance consultation for Adidas. So like he worked with them, learned about Adidas and Nike, then left, and then started doing it on his own. And I'm like, and he made like multiple 6 figures in income. Like he made really solid money. And I was like, I could do something like this. I don't want to work for them and work with them because that's awkward. But let me leave and do something like that on my own.
Yeah.
So I quit, not knowing what I was going to do, but kind of came to the thought of like, okay, I thought about setting up this whole Facebook ad strategy for them to like bring in these athletes, like for a tenth of the price they were paying an agency to bring in athletes for their surveys. I learned a few things like on my own as I was working and learned more afterwards, took a couple courses on udemy.com and YouTube and all of that, started learning. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to University of Cincinnati. I'm going to offer Facebook ad and Google ad services where I run advertisements for them, geo-targeted, to where basically their target audience, or most of them, see these ads, ultimately schedule, whether that's a showing for the apartment, they use a coupon in the restaurant, whatever, and we can track those results. So it was results-based digital marketing. Started that, of course, first business ever. I'm young, of course I had challenges, but overall went really good. I mean, way better than expected.
Yeah, and I would say that was the first step towards a little bit of time freedom, even financial freedom, as you can make in proportion to how much you're working. So I saw Sumner, for our standards, succeeding in that area. And I started thinking, I'm like, okay, what is the best that I can do on my own area? I mean, like Sumner said, I spent $100,000 on my degree. Thankfully, my parents were so gracious to pay for that. But I spent so much money on a degree in architecture. So my first thought is I need to stay in this field. It needs to be something in this field, otherwise it was a total waste.
Yeah, sunk cost fallacy. I put in all this money into architecture, I need to stay with architecture.
Yes.
Or I've been building this career for 20 years, I need to stay here instead of starting something brand new.
Yeah,
Not
so
necessarily.
I started thinking, okay, what is the best that I can do? Maybe I can work for like a one-person entrepreneur. I can be their assistant in a way that my time can be more flexible. I can maybe work from other places. And I remember that exciting me a lot because it seemed like the best that it could get. Even I've never really liked Ohio that much, especially the weather. And I remember us talking about maybe moving to California. That was the top of the food chain in my mind. So we started making plans and seeing a light at the end of the tunnel for our goals. Okay, maybe this can get better.
The agency that I was building was a step up because I could have more control of who I worked with. I could get paid more because the money's going directly to me instead of first to a company, then to me. That makes sense. So it was good in those ways, but then we realized that I still have deadlines. I have new bosses now. Every client I have is a boss. They have certain expectations. Yeah. They need certain clarity on things. They'll call you or they'll email you about things, good and bad, or maybe that aren't as appropriate, or kind of taking your time. And of course, figuring all that out. But basically, I was like, this is definitely better, but this is far from where I want to be. But is that even possible? At the exact same time, I was feeling, so it was good. I was doing good work and it was learning a lot. It was all in services. I met with this woman who was an angel investor in the area, I think who now lives in Australia, and she's wonderful. We got connected through a mutual friend. She's like, hey, I heard that you're getting into business. I would love to just share some advice with you if you're open. I'm like, 100%. A millionaire is going to come and share advice with me? Yes, where do you want to meet? I'll get you coffee. She didn't even let me buy her coffee. But anyway, so we sit down and we're just talking about different things, asking me about what I'm doing. And the big piece out of that conversation that I can share with you, this is literally a millionaire's advice, is that it's look at the Fortune 500 company list. How many of them are service-based? It's almost entirely services. Let's say
advertising,
tailoring a t-shirt, or doing your laundry, or advertising services versus products like Apple, everything behind us, right?
Yeah.
Toothpaste and all that stuff, selling products. And the reality is that the biggest companies are selling some kind of product. Even Exxon Mobil, right? Selling oil. It's a product. It's not a service. So it was very eye-opening. She said, with services, you have to scale the business. You have to put in you have to find the clients, you have to deliver, it's all you. With a product, you have way more leverage. It can scale itself. Let's say you design I'm just making this up. Let's say you design a super addictive, all natural type of chewing gum that just goes viral, right? Influencers pick it up, they start, this is amazing, oh my gosh, everyone's telling their friends and family about it. You make that product, you have to tell your manufacturer, hey, this is selling out, make more. And then they make more, and then it sells out, make more, right? If it was a service and it goes viral, now what? You're working 40 hours a week already, and now you got publicized, you have all these clients, now what? You have to hire people and
you have to
just work more hours.
People,
And it clicked for me. I'm like, we need to sell products.
Yes.
How do we do this?
I remember the day you got home and you told me about that. So Sumner and I hit Google and we were like, okay, what are the best online business models to sell products, things like that. And we came across Amazon FBA, which is basically you find demand for something, for a product. People are searching for a product. You look on Amazon and it doesn't exist. So, for example, someone's searching for succulent plant holder. Then you go to Amazon and there are no options. So what do? You create a product to sell on Amazon, and then you can partner with manufacturers in China. They make the product, they ship directly to Amazon. So you don't even need to do the shipping or anything. They ship to Amazon. Amazon fulfills the order, sends to customers. Oversimplification, but it made sense to us. We needed more information. So at the time we decided to purchase a course. I believe it was $500.
No, I think it was $497.
Anyways, $497. And we're like, it seemed like such a huge, I remember it seemed like, my gosh, we're paying $497 for information. Like, it just seems crazy, but
Yeah, I
we
remember
did
that.
it.
Yeah, you're right. At the time, we were so like, oh, like even this investment's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, are we going to get scammed out of this?
Right.
Where now it's totally different. Like now we know the value of it, but yeah, you're right. You're totally.
And then we watched everything we consumed. I remember like my free time at work, and you as well. Like whenever we could, we consumed the entire course, and we decided, let's invest in this. We took all of the money that we had in our savings. I mean, we had just gotten married a few months earlier, so we had spent a lot of money on that. At the time, I believe we had $7,000
in my IRA.
401k.
Yeah, and pull all of that out with no tax advantage, I think with penalties, in order to launch this first product.
So we invested in this first product, which by the way, we still sell to this day.
Yep.
And it was crazy because in the first 3 months, the income that we were having from those product sales was more than my job and your job combined, or like your previous job combined.
Yeah, it was,
So
that
we were
one
like,
product.
oh my gosh, we found it, we hit jackpot, I'm gonna quit. One thing that I distinctly remember too, which was life-changing, was one day that we were out having dinner, we're eating burgers, and I get the app, like the Amazon app, and I see that we're making sales while we were eating. And that was like the most surreal experience to me of, I'm not working right now and we're making money. That was insane. And
it's an incredible feeling that I hope every single human being feels, of like when you're making money without at that time doing anything.
Yeah.
Even if it's $1.
Yes.
Because something in your brain clicks when that happens, and that really kind of clicked for us. So the end of 2018, Ali fully quit, and going into 2019, I started slowly kind of weaning off some of my clients so we could both go full-time into Amazon.
Yeah.
And initially, because our product was seasonal and seasonal toward the summer months, we did really, really well in terms of revenue and profit. It was amazing. When it started getting colder and less people started traveling, then our product started not doing so well, not as profitable, and things got a bit tight.
Yeah, we realized it the hard way. I'm like, okay, now I quit my job and the income is not as high as it was during the summer.
There were other setbacks, like we launched a new product, sent it to Amazon, and then had a coupon code for basically 99% off, which is like, wait, why would you do that? You make like no money on that then, to get sales velocity. So we lose money in order to rank. And you only do this with like a few products. So Amazon's algorithm is like, oh, this product's making sales because we're basically giving it away for free. Of course we're making sales. Let's show them higher to more people. So we're only supposed to do like a few of those a day. Yeah. There was an issue to where basically we set the coupon for 99% off for but we forgot to put the limit on it. So all of our inventory vanished overnight. Basically we gave $8,000
it was almost
total.
$10,000.
Say $8,000 that we spent and lost it like burning a pile of $8,000.
Yeah.
Is basically what happened. So that was probably the biggest early setback for sure.
Yeah.
And then it made us realize, hey, this course that we took was definitely missing information.
Yes.
And we learned a bunch on our own. So, okay, we kept focused on Amazon. We were not going to give up. And of course, there's ups and downs, right? So there was also other ups, and ultimately kind of figured that out. But at the same time, we realized the importance of information and that there's so much missing information and misinformation about Amazon on YouTube. So we decided like, hey, like let's help other sellers not make the mistakes that we made. And this can be a way to help diversify our income. We're making money on Amazon, but if Amazon fails, to have something else that's strong. So we're like, oh yeah, diversify or die, helping people, let's do it. Like camera shy, I don't care. Let's make money. Let's help people. So we did it. So we bought a camera, ring light.
A little setup that we found on Amazon with like a background.
Yeah, it had a backdrop. I'll see if we can find one of those videos to put up here. So cringe looking back. Oh my gosh. But It got us comfortable on camera. We learned a lot through that, just like anything else as well. And started within even some months, started seeing some level of success. It was really exciting. And at the same time, we have the Amazon and YouTube going on. Then we thought like, hey, we're creating video content, we're comfortable on camera, and we can already see from YouTube content, people are commenting like, this is great, this is amazing, thanks so much for this video, I couldn't find this anywhere. That we know what we're doing is good, and we're like, what if we made a course about this? We took a $500 course that was garbage. What if we made like an inexpensive, affordable course that was way better and way more accurate than that course? Could we do it? Let's do it.
Yeah.
So we went to udemy.com, which is a place we've been before to buy courses on Google Ads, Google certifications, Facebook ads, different things for me. That's how I learned a lot of these skills. And it's basically, Udemy is the biggest e-learning platform in the world. It's the single place where you can find the most courses on any topic, and they range from about 10 to 20 US dollars. So super affordable. Some of them are absolute crap, just garbage, like worse than what you can even find on YouTube, and others are super, super valuable. And I found some that were really valuable, and I was like, hey, let's have YouTube and let's launch a Udemy course. So we made an Amazon FBA Udemy course, we have an Amazon YouTube channel, and we have Amazon FBA physical products that we're selling on the Amazon platform. And with all those combined, as the months progressed, I mean, income really started to grow. We were seeing really great early results for us. Again, pretty budget friendly. We aren't super extravagant. So it's really solid for us, especially because we weren't working for anybody else.
Yes, for sure. And what happened too in 2019, the end of 2019, we went to Europe with my family. And during this trip, two huge things happened, like in our minds that it clicked. The first one was that we were able to be tourists and have like an amazing time traveling around. We went to Portugal, Spain, Italy together, but at the same time, we were able to get some work done and it didn't feel awful. We were excited actually. We would get to our hotel room like, oh, let me make sure the ads are running for this, or let me make sure we publish this video. It felt so good to realize we can actually like do this at the same time we can travel, which was one of our huge desires since we met, and we can work at the same time where all of our money is online. So we started realizing that. And then also during that trip, we listened to the audiobook of The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. If you haven't read that book, highly, highly recommend it. And if you have, you know what we're talking about. It really is a mindset shift, because it talks about how to leverage geo arbitrage is how he calls it. So basically earn money at it in a high, like a strong currency like the US dollar, like euros or Great British pounds, then live somewhere where you're spending on a weaker currency like pesos or Brazilian reais. It's funny, you just commented the other day, like the easiest way to be a millionaire
is to move to Vietnam. Like, is to make it okay income in the United States and then move to Vietnam, which is where we're currently recording, and it's an amazing country, but anyway.
Yes, because you can leverage so much more, like your buying power is like so much more. You can have higher quality of life and so on. So we listened to that audiobook, and not long after, when we came back home, winter hit in Cincinnati, Ohio, and we were miserable. We're like, we don't like this.
Well, for perspective, like Ali, where she's from in Brazil, yes, it is a beachy area, Fortaleza. It's in the northeast. It's just a few degrees away from the equator. We go there, try to go there once a year, and very pleasant, warm, sunny all year round. That's what she was used to. So it was difficult for you.
Yeah.
I never really cared about it too much, especially when I was a kid. I loved the winter and loved the snow. But as I got older, you know, with scraping ice off cars, the sun setting at 5:30 p.m., and most of the winter not being snowy, but being ugly, gray, cloudy, and just like death.
And
I really started
nothing to do. Like,
yeah, really not. It was, for some people, it's a shock people. It's like, oh, Cincinnati, Ohio, but which is a great city, by the way. I'm not dissing Cincinnati at all. It's a great place. It got depressing. We were there, and I remember I was thinking about it. I'm like, so we're here. It's freezing cold. It sucks, and we're both inside working online. I'm like, what if we just did this? You know, we're typing with our fingers in the keyboard, and we just did it somewhere else, like in a warm tropical place.
That is cheaper.
That is cheaper. I was like, wait, could we have a better quality of life cheaper than what we're paying? I'm like, dude, let's try this. You're from Brazil. Let's go to Brazil.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. So we decided to sell almost all of our belongings. All right, guys, garage sale is today. We're selling all of our stuff because we're obviously moving to another continent and another hemisphere. Let's go and take a quick look. All kinds of kitchen stuff.
Sandwich.
A sandwich made by my parents. Mugs and glasses. Wine rack. Cookware set. Non-alcoholic booze. That's not for sale, actually, so.
because that's illegal. All right. Very, very nice coat rack, $25.
Some stuff with my wonderful parents keeping in their basement to this day. Thank you, Mom and Dad. You guys are the best. And it's really amazing having wonderful parents and things like that, which we've referenced, and really want to call that out.
Yeah, we sold pretty much all of our belongings except for a few like personal things and 3 suitcases. And one thing that was really surprising is that we had low quality things from when we were in college, from like IKEA.
Exactly. Or like from the side of the road, free stuff that we got in, like someone was moving and getting rid of stuff, like that we compiled, just college level, broke college student, like appliances and stuff and wedding gifts.
Yeah, we sold and we made almost $10,000. And that's because we sold about half of our things. We donated a lot of things just because we didn't want the hassle of like selling everything too. So that is actually a great point, that if you're tight on money, like if you want to raise money for a business or anything like that.
You just want more money in your pocket. You want to
sell
the stuff that you never use. First of all, it clears up mental space, but second, you can make way more money than you expect from the stuff you have in your home right now. So, side note.
Now it's March of 2020. We sold everything and we moved to Brazil, to a place called Florianopolis, which we absolutely love to this day. And yes, this is exactly 1 week before the pandemic hit.
Yeah, I remember as we were traveling at one of our layovers getting into Florianopolis, that on the TV, I started hearing about this Chinese virus coming out of China. And I was like, oh, seems like this might be kind of a big deal. I've never heard about this before, whatever. We get to Florianopolis, which is basically this island right off the coast in southern Brazil. Obviously, COVID was terrible, but it was a really great opportunity for us. I'm really glad we were there versus almost anywhere else.
For sure.
Because there's basically one bridge and flights that come into the island. So those were shut off, like, hey, until we figure this out, no one's coming in. So it's quarantine. So you had just the locals there, which are actually very, very few. And 43 pristine beaches all around. There's, beautiful Portuguese architecture. There's these beautiful hikes that nobody's on. These amazing beaches, nobody's here. It was like amazing for us. Everything worked. The grocery store, everything was open.
At the same time, like great Wi-Fi, great restaurants, like very developed city as well.
So it was just an amazing time there. And really, we learned like we can do this from anywhere in the world. And like, oh my gosh. I remember we always want to live in a warm place by the coast. And I remember thinking the only place that exists on earth for us to do that is California.
Yeah.
It's the only place. Like Florida, California, right? That's the only 2 options I have because I'm American. I have to stay in my country. Then I realized I'm like, there's like a lot of developed, safe, beautiful places around the world. Yeah. Let's go see them. So during this time of COVID, we had plenty of time to really hone in and just double down on everything we were doing, really increase our income. And that especially came from creating more courses on Udemy. We'd learn different skills to grow our Amazon business, like Pinterest marketing to get more sales.
Yeah.
Or like Google ads, or later on
expanding to Etsy, like
Etsy products, all that kind of stuff. So we learned more skills and then taught those skills in the form of courses and YouTube content. So really started growing that, making more money, and we're like, there's more places in the world that we want to go. So we kept traveling, kept growing, and we're now at country number 45. And one of the biggest things that we did during our travels, this will change your life if you do this, is we started tracking our hours. So we have our different businesses, like we have the 3 businesses, Amazon, YouTube, Udemy. And we started tracking how many hours are we working on Amazon? How many hours are we working on YouTube and on Udemy? Like how many hours each? Because we know income per thing per year and then hours, so dollar per hour.
Yeah.
And what was crazy is we count, because you don't know what you don't know. And you think you know this, or you could just know this on your own. You'll never know until you start tracking your hours. It'll change your life, because then you'll know what your time is actually worth. You'll see how much time you're actually working in the office or actually working on your new business. It's really eye-opening. And we realized that for every hour we put into Udemy, we were making $613 back. Both of our hours combined, all the profit back, which was way more than YouTube and Amazon. And we realized like this is the best. And we also enjoyed it the most.
That's what I was going to say. Not only it was the business that was giving us the most dollar per hour, it was the business that we liked working on the most. We actually love, it was great because it was like a symbiotic relationship between our businesses. We learned to sell better on Amazon. We create content, we help students. So that was really great. But as we started creating other courses, because I thought it was totally tied into Amazon. As we started creating other courses, I saw, oh my gosh, this is amazing. We can actually help people in so many different fields. It was the closest passive income that I could ever think of, because basically you put all of your time beforehand to produce the content for the course. And then later on, the upkeep, you have to maybe record some updated videos and answer questions of
it's like
students.
less than I think combined like an hour a week that we were for all of our courses combined, that combined generate over $12,000 in profit to this day per month. And it's because of this that we realized this from all, and we tried other businesses like that were kind of failed, like drop shipping or selling stock footage. Like real estate, we've looked into and even tried a lot of different online businesses and offline businesses, and have found like by far Udemy to this day is the best online business in terms of time in, money back, enjoyment, and long-term opportunity of the e-learning growing year after year after year. So because of this, like no one's talking about how great creating courses on Udemy is. What we've done is actually created an entire free training showing exactly what Udemy is, why it's mathematically the best online business for beginners, how to earn $4,000 a month in income while working 10 hours a week the entire time on Udemy. It is literally life-changing. It's the single business that's changed our life the most. So if you want access to that free training, it'll be linked in the description section below. And also what we've done is because Udemy is so great, we've created a course about Udemy courses.
Yes.
Teaching the entire process, everything, free templates, membership group, everything that somebody needs to go from where they are right now knowing nothing, not having an entrepreneurial bone in their body,
and
being afraid on camera,
thinking
all
they
of that.
have nothing to teach. Anything.
Taking from that point to be able to earn a full-time income from anywhere in the world, the entire process, results guaranteed. So we put that into a program called Freedom Falcon Academy that'll also be linked in the description section below. So be sure to check those out. So obviously we've experienced a fair amount of success, especially for us with online business. However, if we were gonna go back and do it differently, we would do things pretty differently. There's some big things that we realized in this journey that will be tremendously helpful to you. Number one, if you're thinking about starting a business or going and becoming an entrepreneur or not. So
yeah, I would say one of the most important things to do first is to be crystal clear and very honest with yourself about your life goals. Be as detailed as possible. Think about everything, what you want your routine to look like. Who do you want to be spending time with? How many hours a week do you actually want to work? Where do you want to be living? How you want people to see you? What do you want to look like? Everything. And also, if you are married, if you have a business partner, anyone that you see yourself with in that future, make sure that your life goals are aligned. And then you work backwards to figure out what is the best business model, how you're actually going to go about achieving those goals.
Yeah, 100%. Because I think so many people are afraid to be honest with themselves because they know the answer. Like, for example, it's like, are you truly fulfilled and satisfied? Like, do you have the body that you want? Do you have the relationships that you want? Do you have the health that you want or the money that you want? And a lot of people are like, I already know the answer. That's why I don't want to ask the question because I want to be content, which is very good. Everyone should be content. However, there's kind of this realization where you kind of know that you're able to achieve more and have more in your life. And more of good things, by the way. You can also have bad things in your life. So I'm not advocating that. And just doing whatever you want is absolutely not true. But being honest with yourself, and you also being honest, why do you desire those things? Maybe that's not a good desire that you have that you can uproot. But yeah, it's just be honest and know with your honesty that that life and that picture that you have is 100% attainable. It will not happen overnight. It will require change, transformation, and it will be painful.
Yeah.
But what's more painful than that is doing the same thing that you're doing, knowing with the honesty that you're not living the life that you know that you want.
Yeah, and with that too, I remember one thing that I know we did right was we were very clear that our biggest goal from the beginning was time. Yes, we wanted financial stability, but there were so many people, especially in the Amazon space, that, like flashing off Lamborghinis, and it's all about making millions of dollars. And we were always aligned on that. Like, we do not want to sacrifice our time for that. That is not the most important thing to us. And that is one of the reasons why we decided to create courses on Udemy to start with, especially as opposed to doing our own thing, because it is so passive, because Udemy brings in your students. You don't have to do that advertising and find your audience yourself.
Yeah.
So,
and I think so many people don't realize, kind of another big point in realization is, number one, not tracking your time and really knowing the dollar per hour of your time, but not realizing the value of your time. Think about it. You can always regenerate your mood. Think about it. You were in a bad mood yesterday. You can be in a good mood today. That can change. You can regenerate your energy, right? I was tired this morning, but now I have energy, or vice versa. So energy, money is unlimited. The Federal Reserve can print as much money as they want. It's not backed by gold. So all those things are renewable. There's infinite of them. But you know what's not renewable? It's your time. You'll never, ever, ever get last year back. It happened and it'll never change. And so on. And we don't know when our next or last day is going to be. So I think people need to really be honest and realize how important your time is. And for us, that's why it's like, what's the point of making, let's say, $10 million a year, and we're working 50, 60 hours a week, and we have to live in a certain place in the United States or a certain place that we don't necessarily want to be? Like, why would we do that? That's, of course, you do that and then retire or whatever. Okay, I get that. But let's say for the rest of your life. Like, no, like, what's the point of that? The point is ultimately to have freedom, and that's the whole goal. But I think people need to kind of change that in their mind of like, your time is way more valuable than a certain dollar amount, yet we trade it so flippantly, both for free to people that don't matter and also to our bosses in exchange for a dollar. So
yeah, and that actually brings us to another thing we would have done differently, which is to hire early. I definitely think you should start by doing everything yourself, but we were so afraid of hiring someone to do. We always thought we could do better. We always thought that it would be such a hazard to have to manage someone. But we realized quickly that when you have your own business, there are certain tasks that you have to perform over and over and over that it's not worth your time. So that's another reason why it's important to track and know your dollar per hour. Because if there's someone else, a lot of the times, maybe most of the times, better than you at a certain task that can perform that task for lower, then it's worth it.
Yeah. Well, let's even say this. You do the math, you look at your total profit or income for the past year and all of your tracked hours for that work, and let's say it comes to even $30 an hour. Let's say it's pretty low, right? $30 an hour. Well, what's crazy is, again, it goes back to the geo arbitrage, is that you can pay someone $6 an hour in the Philippines to do all the stuff that you don't want to do, and they'll actually enjoy doing it. And that was kind of a big thing, those two things, like, oh my gosh, I can actually like take all the things that I hate doing and pay someone super low to do those things.
Low for you,
for you,
but not for them.
Exactly. It's worth it for them in that country. I'm not saying, if it was the US, it'd be a different story. But as soon as you have your business, it's making money, it's going well. But once you start realizing, you're like, I really want more time and I really want to do more projects, I just don't have the time. It's at that exact moment, whatever your dollar per hour is, start finding the stuff that you hate doing, the most basic stuff. Have it, record videos on, here's how to do it. So you have to do this every week. Here's how you do it. You have to do this every day. Here's how you do it. Like, go to this, log in here, here's the credentials, click this button. If anything is open, copy and paste it to the spreadsheet, whatever it is that you do. Find someone inexpensively, let's say from the Philippines, from Pakistan, from different countries. Hire them for this, give them the videos, pay them, and like you literally have your time freed up. And it is, from a business standpoint, I think it's the single thing we've done in business that has had the biggest, one of the top two, I would say, huge, life-changing. I remember we thought like, we shouldn't hire, but again, Fortune 500 companies, all of them have more than one employee.
Yeah.
They have way more than one employee. So if we don't want to get to that level of $1 billion company, but we realize, what do the successful people do? They all have teams. And my goodness, there still comes with challenges. Dealing with people isn't always pleasant.
Yeah.
People quitting out of nowhere or whatever. However, that life with our team versus a life without,
for sure,
is like, I can't even say it, I think literally like 100 times better.
Yeah, I would say that was the second shift. Remember when I said that, I realized, oh my gosh, we just made a sale and we're not working. That was the second one of like, right now we're here recording this video and someone else, one of our team members, is working for us, is making sure our Amazon products are going through. It's making sure videos are being published, other things, you know what I mean? So that was the second shift that was like life-changing.
And something else you probably won't hear anywhere else is don't diversify. I learned this from millionaires and billionaires.
Yeah.
Remember we said in the beginning, like, oh, we have Amazon's only one thing, like let's diversify, let's have YouTube, let's have Udemy. And it's ultimately worked out well for us. However, if we went back in time, we would have gone all in on just Amazon. Well, looking back, what we would have done is done Udemy and gone all in on Udemy if we knew what we knew now. But again, let's just say it was Amazon. We'd go in all in on one business, put all of our focus, energy, time, and resources toward that one thing and grow it as much as humanly possible, like for tens of millions of dollars, then sell it, then get into multiple things.
Yes.
Versus what we did of kind of like, because think about your energy and your thoughts are kind of like laser beams. It's the best way that I can think of it. And each goal that you have is a wall, right? if you have 5 walls and 5 laser beams, like that's 5 different income streams, right? They're all kind of weak and they don't really knock down the wall. They're kind of slowly knock down those walls. You kind of slowly achieve your goals. And it's messy. Like your brain is on for this business.
Yeah.
They have to turn off and turn on for this business. And then you have this task. You're like, wait, I thought I already, it scatters your brain. It reduces your focus. Even though you have diversified income coming in, you could most likely make way more money if you just went all in. Basically, you'll make more money and maybe even be less stressed having, at least to start off, just one income stream. Later on, just like all the billionaires do, then diversify.
Yeah.
But it's that initial period. And I tell this to everybody who asks me like, hey, like I'm starting a business, like what's your biggest piece of advice? This is one of them. Go all in on one single thing.
Yeah.
And like it's all of your energy and focus goes, tear it down. And yeah.
Yeah, because we diversified out of fear. And
Exactly.
now we see that, oh my gosh, especially when you're a team and you're working together, you can achieve something bigger and faster when you're all in on a go. And I would say too, one of the biggest things you can do is learn from other people that have already achieved what you want to achieve. That is one of the biggest advice I can give you, because like whether that's through courses or books or conferences, consultation calls, actually now that is like the first thing we do. If we want to get into something, if we want, let's say we want to get into real estate, we would 100% purchase a course, get on a consultation call with someone who's already successful in that, because you are saving yourself time, money, and stress. So many people have a resistance to spending money on like a book, a course, or a consultation call or anything like that, but they don't realize how much of an investment that is, how much you're saving money and time and stress on your end, because you're learning from their mistakes. They lost money. They wasted time. They made something wrong and now they know how to do it right. And then you learn from them and you don't make the same mistakes. So I cannot stress this enough.
It's like spending, let's say, $1,000 on a course and then making tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars back in that total value.
Yes,
And,
sooner.
And a real example of this is for us, like we're like, okay, we have all our businesses and then we have some money left over that we can't really reinvest fast enough, but we don't want it just sitting in a bank. So what do? We want to invest it in the stock market. So what I did is bought all the top investing books on Audible, watch podcasts, and I'm paying a guy, a super experienced guy, like $400 for an hour call to look at the portfolio I put up and just poke holes in it, tell me maybe some different potential things I could do better. And I know from doing this from so many other things with Etsy and Amazon and YouTube and all these other places we've invested, that it's going to be well worth it in the end.
Yeah.
And of course you may be thinking, it's like, well, of course you guys would say that. You guys sell courses. Like, that's exactly true. The reason we sell courses is because we know how valuable it is. Like, how could we not? It's sort of like Ikigai, because yes, part of it's 100% for the money, but it's what can you do that's good for the world? What can you do that you enjoy, that you're good at, and that makes money? That's Ikigai, the 4 things. Wherever the intersectionality is, which for us is Freedom Falcon Academy, that's what we're going to do, and kind of have that same mindset for you, because you may, it might be different for you as well.
And I will go as far as saying that even the $500 course that we purchased on Amazon FBA was a good investment. Yeah, it had misinformation and whatever. Like one door opens another, that opens another, that opens another. And if we didn't have that course, it would have taken longer for us to get started on totally. Amazon, for sure.
It's funny, even though we found out the guy was basically a con artist, it was still even worth it then. Now, of course, I'm not saying be careful about who you choose. Only go with people who are experienced. They should be knowledgeable and known in that field. If they're not, maybe be wary if they don't show the results, all of that. Make a full video about that if you want. But even then, it was crazy. It was still worth the investment. Now, you might be thinking like, hey guys, you guys talk about all your success. Good for you, great. That's never gonna happen to me, or this can't happen to me. And what the crazy thing is, I remember thinking the same thing that you may be thinking right now back in 2018. I was like, I saw literally these people like on YouTube and in different ads and books and Forbes magazine that are just killing it, even like 30-year-olds, like just making money and traveling, doing all this stuff. I'm like, wow, that's so cool. I wish I could do that. And then I thought, why not me? And then we did it.
Yeah.
If you want to do it, you can do it. Whatever that looks like. It might not be traveling the world, but if you want that freedom to spend time with your loved ones, to mostly do what you really enjoy, to enjoy the work that you do and get excited for it. Get just as excited about Monday morning as you do about Friday night, and make significantly more money than you're making now. All of those things. You can do it. It's way more real and possible than you think. Because here's the thing. Sure. Let's say it's like Sumner. If you open a restaurant, will you be successful? Well, guess what? I can look at least one other person has had a successful restaurant. I can do it. because at least one other person did. So mathematically, like, yes, this is possible. Now, what happens when it's tens of thousands of people doing this? Because we're not the only ones. I love to say that, right? We're the best, and only subscribe to us and follow us. There's so many people doing it.
Yeah.
More than you possibly know, and they're people literally just like you, or guess what? Not even as smart as you. Maybe in worse situations that you've come from. So we really want to give you that encouragement. The point of this story is not like, hey, look at us, look at what we accomplished and buy our course. That's not the point. The point is ultimately to, first of all, give you honesty and find all those details that different people will find more valuable, but ultimately encourage you.
Yes.
And yes, we have created an entire free guide for you that will literally show you how to go from where you are right now to begin earning $4,000 a month while working less than 10 hours a week. There's only one online business that can do that currently, and that is Udemy. So if you want that free training, click it in the description section below, and be sure to check out our entire Freedom Falcon Academy program, which will also be linked along with everything else we mentioned here in the description section.
If you're not changing, you're choosing. So take one step closer to your financial freedom today. We hope you found this video valuable, and we wish the best in all of your endeavors and look forward to seeing you in future videos. Until then, bye.